What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar BYT, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Barca News Roundup with my guy Kule Podcast. What's going on, bro?
Omar, thank you for having me yet again. Hopefully, we can have a more interesting debate. I know that there's going to be a lot of Barcelona topics that we are going to be discussing. There's going to be a wide range of emotions, and hopefully, we can have a good show for all the viewers and have an interesting footballing debate. But once again, thank you for having me.
Appreciate you for always turning up, man. Always been a turn up. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Kule's podcast. Link is in the title every single time, guys. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him, guys. And yeah, guys, just like you heard, guys, there's a lot of good topics that are coming up on this stream, guys. A lot of transfer rumors, a lot of confirmed transfers. Some transfers in, some transfers out, some rumored. But listen, before we go into all of that, I think we need to start with basically the previous game. Obviously, Copa del Rey semifinals on Tuesday. We played against Atleti. We knew it was going to be a tough game. We had a poor start. We recovered well at the end of that first half. Kind of opened the gap, and we were comfortable. Everything was looking great. And then out of nowhere, we just get sucker punched with 2 goals. Not good enough. It was very, very poor in the end. But I had my piece. I got to speak to some of my Barca friends yesterday on the stream. But I want to ask you, like, how did you feel, bro, about that performance, man?
It was a very frustrating night to become to be a Barcelona fan because realistically, I would say that Barcelona, we played well for I would say 70 minutes, and the first 10 minutes were atrocious, and the last 10 minutes were atrocious. Both the start of the match and the end of the match, it was just very poor from Barcelona. I thought not necessarily it was a lack of football, but a lack of concentration. In the first opening 10 minutes, I saw just Barcelona. They didn't show up into the match. They didn't show up mentally, and that lack of concentration of saying, "Hey, we're in the Copa del Rey in the semifinal, playing against Atletico Madrid. We need to be locked in," and it didn't show that. And then when you're up against a team such as Atletico Madrid, who are on red hot form, players who are absolutely well, then you are going to suffer. And that's how the 2 goals came super, super quickly. I turned on my stream and I see Barcelona already 1-0 down. I'm like, what? The game has just started. And a couple minutes later, I see Griezmann, both Julian and Griezmann doing a counterattack. And then Barcelona can see a second right after the bat. I'm thinking, whoa, guys, like what's happening? It's just like conceding 2 goals that quickly. And it just shows a lack of concentration from the team rather than necessarily say, hey, like Hansi Flick is doing something wrong. I want to praise Barcelona for the way that they came back because, I said this before, but Barcelona teams of the past, they would have crumbled mentally. It's happened many times where Barcelona, we have a negative score line and conditions aren't in our favor, and we just aren't able to turn that around. But Barcelona, they were able to do that. They do the comeback. They have a 2 goal cushion, but I would say maybe once again, just like in the first 10 minutes, a lack of concentration towards that latter half. It allowed Atletico Madrid to come back, and what would have been a relatively, not easy, but relatively, I would say, comfortable lead. It has now been completely reduced, and now everything is up to play for in the second leg, which is going to be at the Wanda. But looking at my sensations from the team, I'm very, very frustrated. But at the same time, I'm very optimistic on this team. I think Barcelona, we could have easily scored more goals than 4. Ferran Torres has like 2 chances. There were multiple opportunities where you're thinking, hey, man, Barcelona, they could have gone away with this with a much bigger scoreline. I think Madrid, genuinely, they didn't threaten that much. In the first half, it was just those first 2 occasions. In the second half, you could say, like, hey, those 2 goals that they scored, maybe 1 or 2. But genuinely, I just didn't feel threatened by Atletico Madrid. And it's just, can we limit our mistakes? Because it's always Barcelona shooting themselves in the foot. And that was reflected in yesterday's match.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that's what really frustrates me about this team every single time, bro. I don't understand what our obsession is with like we can just be comfortable as fans. Like even when we were 4-2 up, right? Everything was going rosy. Like you saw the fans ole on on the pitch. I wasn't, because I'm like, bro, one thing I know about this team is I just know all it takes is Atletico scoring one, and then all of a sudden their heads will go. Bro, it's so predictable, bro, with this team. I don't understand this. And look, I was disappointed. I was angry because I said to myself, yo, we are in a position where now I wanted us to go into the second leg with a 2-goal lead because I feel like that's the only way we could be comfortable in the second leg, right?
No.
They would have to come out and attack us. But, dude, it was ridiculously poor, man. It was ridiculously poor from the team. And listen, I feel like a lot of people, they're pointing the finger at Hansi Flick. And if I'm going to be real, he has to take some of the blame. I'm going to be very honest. I think he should, right? Like, it was naive of us to be in the 84th minute and still playing that high of a line. Like, bro, I see a lot of like Tottenham fans complain about this because they play a very similar style to what we play, the high line. But the problem is, their manager is so stubborn. He never wants to refuses to get away from the high line. And I feel like Hansi Flick has those traits as well. Like, there's certain moments in the game when you're comfortable, you don't have to go that high. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
It
no,
wasn't.
I absolutely agree with you. Like, and in that sense, I think that's just Barcelona maybe being a little bit too comfortable and switching out like a focus, and that's where having that highline where you need to be laser focused, it can come to bite you. And I agree with you. I think Hansi Flick, he does need to take some of the blame, but genuinely, I would say it was more of the players being switched off rather than Hansi Flick. I would say tactics in general. This is part of Hansi Flick's system. These are going to happen, but it's just the players knowing and staying them for or focus for the entirety of the minutes, and also his in-game substitutions. Very rarely am I critical of him. He's genuinely gotten it very right. He didn't get it right against Atletico Madrid. The substitutions that he did make, I would say, hurt Barcelona more than they helped us. But my faith in Hansi Flick is still unmovable. He had a bad night, but I just put it like that. It was just a poor game, and that's it. You just move on.
I mean, look, that's fine, right? I will say this. For me, the reason I had to, because at first I wasn't really blaming the manager. And listen, I'm not saying this all on him, right? For me, it was more of that fourth goal when I saw, and listen, I don't even blame him definitely for that fourth goal. I blame Kunde because people think, oh yeah, well, Kunde just slipped. There was nothing he could do. Bro, the reason he slipped is because he was reacting to Samuelino being ahead of him. He didn't see Samuelino was already making his run. By the time he noticed that Samuelino was running, that's why he slipped. Because he was trying to, he reacted quickly because he needed to react. If you go back and look at that goal, look at where he's standing, bro. He's just chilling because he's looking at, I think, was it Marcos Llorente, right? He doesn't see Samuelino just sneaking past him. So when that ball is kicked, he thinks that the ball is coming towards Llorente, right? So he's trying to get towards Llorente. So when he realizes Samuelino is making the run behind him, he turns around and tries to go for it, and that's when he slipped. I'm like, yo, your reaction time was very slow because at the end of the day, you're a fullback. You were supposed to be marking Samuelino. Samuelino is the winger. Why are you letting him just standing there? Why keep your eye off him? It was ridiculous. And listen, at the end of the day, I'm not putting all the blame on Hansi Flick, but the reason, I have to point the finger at Flick is because I also think his substitutions were wrong, right? When Alexander Sørloth came on the pitch, he should have brought in Araujo.
Yeah.
Because you know what Sørloth does. Sørloth is, he's the Giroud version of Atletico's version of Giroud.
No.
He's the guy that is going to be behind the defender, putting pressure on him. You understand what I'm saying, right? The muscle in the team. What you need to counter with that is a player who can play physical. And as much as I read Kobashi and Inigo, right, we know that when it comes to the physical battles, as a defender, Araujo, nobody does it in this team better than Araujo. Araujo thrives in those physical battles. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Yeah. I think that he should have brought in Araujo and just Araujo, I need you to have one job on the pitch today. You see that tall guy over there? Mark him. He's yours for the rest of the game, right? Because I know what they're trying to do. They're going to cross the ball towards him. Make sure he doesn't win any duels with you. Because bro, it was going to be a very interesting one, bro. You
Yeah.
saw the way Alexander Solo was just, bro, that fourth goal was a disgrace. The way the guy was just standing there. Bro, look at the way Samuel Lino just passed him the ball.
Yeah.
Samuel Lino literally just passed him, bro. He had a free bro, he nearly missed it. Chesney almost saved it, bro. He had so
Yeah.
much time to tap it. I was sitting there like, bro, I'm sitting there like, yo, what? Is this offside? Because I was like, yo, why is everybody just marking go away from this guy? At first I thought he was offside. I was like, bro, they must have raised a flag up. There must be something. What is
No.
going on? You understand what I'm saying?
No,
And listen,
absolutely.
bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. That fourth goal, I lost I was streaming, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing, bro. The defending was a disgrace, bro. It's 4-3. You see that they're attacking. Why would you go so high, bro?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if that is if that's the manager saying that, then the manager has to take blame for it. But if it's not, then there's no way it should be that high. It was the 94th minute. The referee was gonna blow the whistle anytime. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
You
absolutely.
shouldn't be doing that.
No, Inigo Martinez, he talked about it, in in the post match. He said, yeah, I mean, like maybe we were a little bit too high with that high line, but he generally didn't blame the high line for them conceding the goal, and I sort of agree with that. I would put it more towards that complacency aspect, because even myself, I'm looking at that 4-2 scoreline, and I'm thinking, oh, game is over. The game is over. I'm just like chatting with the viewers. I'm not necessarily focused too much on the stream. I'm having conversations. I'm saying like, hey, like what's going on and everything. And I'm pretty sure the players were also having that sort of mindset. And then when Atletico, they scored the 4-3, they're saying, okay, it's a 4-3. It's not what we want. But I just say it's the complacency that just seeped into Barcelona's game that caused them to be, not focused for that fourth goal, because that high line in general, it has worked more times than it hasn't throughout the entirety of the season. And just, it just was one of those moments where Atletico Madrid becoming, a team so informed, having such quality players, they are going to make you suffer. And I was looking at some stats for Sorloth. He has 8 goals. No. He has 8 GA, I would say, in the last 3 or 5 games or something along those sides.
Yeah,
like
bro.
5 goals and
You know
3
what it
assists.
is? He's you know what it is? He's a old-fashioned striker. He is one of those strikers. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to have a striker like him in my team, and not because I want him to start. I would like to have him on the bench, because I know when we have those games where the team is just packed into their box, I can just have him in the strike and just cross the ball to him, because I know he's just a muscle. He can just, you know what I mean? This is why I wanted Araujo to come in, because I knew what Simeone was trying to do. You understand what I'm saying? Bringing him on, right?
Yeah.
Bro, he literally scored against us in the previous tie.
No, he did. He did.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, he didn't learn his
the previous
lesson.
game.
Yeah, in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Look, at the end of the day, like I said, it wasn't good enough. And listen, when it comes to the high line, it's worked. But even when it was working, I remember telling people, listen, I don't mind playing the high line. But bro, there's something called the line being too high. How are you so far in the midfield, bro? The line is so high. The defenders are literally near the midfield, bro. They're in the defensive midfield area. I'm like, yo, why is our defenders all the way to the defensive midfield? Like, bro, look at the game against Las Palmas, bro. They were literally going through the high line. It's just that they were just terrible in finishing, but they were going through the high line so easily. And that's what I'm kind of like, bro. The problem with playing the high line is when you keep playing the same way every single time, eventually teams are going to figure out how to play against it. They're going to be, cool. You know what we're going to do? We're going to keep this guy who's going to be behind the line so that they can take a look at him and think that he's the one that we're looking at to pass the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that's what Las Palmas were doing? You had the striker, McBurney, was just standing in the offside area, right? So the defenders were just looking at him, right? Thinking, okay, he's probably the one that they're looking for. Every time he came in, you had, what's his name? Is it Milero or something? I forgot his name. Bro, he was literally making runs from behind the defender and literally just getting the ball, bro. His finishing was just awful. Sandro Ramirez was doing the same thing in the second half. That's why he was getting so many shots in the game. And that's what I'm saying, bro. It's not good enough because teams are beginning to figure out how to play against our high line, Elias. That's the problem. Whether we like it or not, Because the line is so high, people are beginning to figure it out, and we
Well,
need to work on it.
I mean, like we've been seeing this throughout like the entirety of the season. You know, even back, I would say in the month of November, or like early parts of the season. You know, I don't think that teams have been saying, "Hey, you know what? This is something completely new." No, just when a team is playing that high line, you need those runs in behind from your midfielders, from your wingers. You know, and we've seen it time and time again targeting Barcelona. It just as I said, more times than not, we've been on the opposing side, and we've managed to catch these players offside. Just the quality of our center
Mm,
backs has been that good, and it was just one
right.
of those days where just Barcelona they weren't laser focused, and you know I am going to be. I am going to be critical of the players because I just don't think that letting a 2-0 lead against a team like Atletico Madrid go in that
Yeah.
circumstances
The
is
players are
rightful.
not exempt
But
for
but
blame for
but
sure.
but but genuinely, I'm not necessarily fuming at what's it called, at what happened. I'm very, very disappointed. I'm frustrated, but I still have the faith. I'm
Mm,
very confident in the team. I'm still very optimistic of what the season can bring for us. Just looking at what
mhm,
Barcelona they are, you know, we're in the round of 16. We're going to be playing against Benfica. We are going to be, you know, in the playing the second leg of the Copa del Rey. We're first in La Liga, and so you know, generally when you look at the season overall, you know, the highline has been
I mean,
beneficial. Of
listen,
course, there's been games
listen.
that hasn't worked.
Yeah, and this is the thing, Elias. For me, let me be clear. I wasn't even at full time when I did my match reaction. I wasn't even angry. I was just frustrated,
Yeah,
right? And look, the reason for me, I'm even losing my head the way I am. It's not even because we bottled it. It's the way we bottled it in the end. That goal, that final goal, was the one that really triggered me. Before that, I was just like, bro, I am so used to us shooting ourselves in the foot. I can't get angry that we bottled it. You understand what I'm saying, right? I can
yeah.
only get frustrated. I can just sit there and say, bro, why do we always do this? You understand
Hmm.
what I'm saying, right? But when I'm looking at the stupid mistakes, the silly mistakes that we're giving away, that's when I'm like, nah, it's not good enough. You understand what I'm saying, right? Because those are human error, bro. Those are errors that you shouldn't be making if you've been doing this for a while. But listen, big up to everyone here, man. The chat is doing well. Let's read some of these chats before we move to the next point. It says, "Oh, our season will live and die on this line. 100% flick. I hear you, bro. Nobody can chase our counter attacks in the 95th minute with full sprint." Yeah, man. Says that's way too much space cover for 90 minutes. They didn't have the legs. They didn't start playing. They didn't have the leg. I don't know who he's basically talking. I think he's talking about us, but he says Araujo is faster than Kobashi. I mean, yeah, maybe. Um says we missed the crash out of the season with no stream on that game. I mean, listen, you guys would have been disappointed. I wasn't even crashing out. I wouldn't have even crashed out. I would have been pissed off, but I wouldn't be like breaking stuff. Like the way I'm reacting now is because I actually went back to watch the game. And that's why I think frustrated me because I went back to watch the game to really analyze everything again. Right. And that's why I really, but at the time when I watched it, I was like, it's ridiculous, man. This team says there are two teams the game will never there are two teams the game will never be over for me until the final whistle. Atleti and Real Madrid. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Scandinavian countries have always been elite with producing lethal strikers. That's their pedigree. Yeah, for sure, man. Look at the two Scandinavian nations, Norway and Sweden, bro. I was saying the same thing, Omar. I didn't like the high line at all, even when it works. I mean, listen, I don't. It's not that I don't even like the high line. I just think that, bro, there's certain points in the game you don't have to play that high. You
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying? That
yeah,
game was a perfect example of it. The Highland helped us get a good lead, right? With 2 goals up. Okay, you're 2 goals up. It's 84th minute. Don't go that high anymore.
yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because then you know what it is. Because you got like what 6 more minutes to go, 7 more minutes to go, 8 minutes more minutes to go with added time, right? You think, all right, cool, 2 goal lead. We go to a two goal lead in the one Metropolitano. That's what we wanted. We wanted a 2 goal lead. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying, right? You don't have to play like that when you're that comfortable, man. Says not sure how the blame is on the players, bro. Our system requires so much running. What do you say about that, Elias?
No, I completely agree. I think the physical aspect of the system is going to be very, very key. And this is where, for example, those substitutions from Hansi Flick, I think on the night, they generally harmed Barcelona. Pedri taking off Pedri, who is a controller, taking off Rafinha, who's a threat out wide, bringing in Gavi, who isn't in his best
Mm,
moment, as well. Not bringing in Araujo, who could have gone, toe to toe with Sorloth, for example, and as well keeping with the Highland when there wasn't really a necessity to. It did play an impact. And obviously, for Hansi Flick, looking at the season overall, you want the players to be staying fit, because there are going to be so matches to
mm,
be played, and you want each player to be at 100. And that's where you have to ask
mm.
about your squad. This is where your squad depth is going to be tested, and that's where Hansi Flick this weekend, he's very interested to see what lineup he fields, and that's going to be an indication of saying, hey, where the players are at physically, because Barcelona in these next upcoming weeks, we're going to be playing a lot of matches.
Yep, for sure. Big up to Cash Message. Smash the likes and subscribe to Omar and Kule podcast. Big up if you haven't. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my guy Kule. There's the link to his channel right there. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel, guys. Make sure you guys go subscribe. But listen, I do want to quickly segue because I did want to just quickly go about ask Kule about the game. But yeah, man, let's quickly go to obviously some transfer news that has just come out. Literally today, was just been confirmed. This is the one. There
Yeah.
it is. Right? Fabrizio Romano has officially confirmed it. VITOR ROQUE to Palmieras. Here we go. Deal now in place between all parties. Real Betis just approved the move. Barca will get 25 million plus 5 and a sell-on clause. Betis will get a higher rise for S update as compensation. Roque signs a 5-year deal with Palmeiras, guys. So, yeah. First of all, before we talk about that transfer, I just have to say, man, what was the point of signing this guy again? Like, I'm actually, bro. Is it safe to say this guy is probably the worst signing we've ever made? Because I have to ask. Because think about it. This guy has only been here for a year. I think we spent 40 million on him, right?
It
He
was
was never
30
gonna work.
million fixed and 30 million in variables.
But that is the thing,
Yep.
right? We bought this guy. At no point in the 6 months he played did he look like he was going to be one of our best players. He gets sent out on loan at Betis, where he actually, to be fair, was doing well before he's left now. And now we've just sold him after 1 year. Bro, he's only been at the club for one. He technically was only at the club for a year. We signed this guy, I think, was it in 2023, right? And then
Yeah.
he came in like 6 months later. Like, bro, what was the point of signing this guy?
Mhm.
Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even joking, guys. Like, this is why I call him. Like, this is why I'm wondering. This is why I'm wondering. What was the point? Because at the end of the day, who was the one who actually made this signing? Was it Deco?
It was.
Like,
It was Deco who went after his signing. Yep.
bro, I don't understand this. Because here's the thing with VITOR ROQUE, right, bro? The money we spend on him, we needed that money for other areas on the pitch. You've seen how we were struggling with basically signing players, and then we go and buy this guy. He never makes it to the team, and then all of a sudden, 1 year later, he's already gone. What was the point? It was ridiculous. But yeah, what, let me listen. Tell me, bro, Elias, what do you think of the deal? Do you think that it's good that we got him off the books permanently? Is that like, because look, I know in the summer we're gonna have a big summer, and let's be real, he didn't really have a future in this club, right? He was a
Mhm.
pointless signing, one of the worst signings we've ever made, right? But are you happy just that we were able to just take him off the books permanently and not have to worry about him next season?
Well, I'm happy that Barcelona, they were able to recuperate most of the funds, and most of the money that was invested in him. He was but Barcelona, they bought him for 30 million euros fixed, roughly around that price range, with 30 million euros in variables. And so recovering 25 fixed and 5 million euros in variables from that Palmeiras deal, it basically covers what Barcelona they paid for him. And so generally looking at how the transfer went. Obviously it's very disappointing, but I'm not going to be so harsh to say, hey, he's one of the worst transfers of all signing, because, guys, we've signed Coutinho, who we've paid millions
Yeah.
and millions and millions of euros. We signed Dembele, which I would say is the worst signing in Barcelona history. The amount of money that we paid for him, and the amount of the amount of output that he has given us, it's been absolutely atrocious. And so I'm not going to be that harsh on Roque. I do understand why Barcelona they brought him in, because if you don't remember, Lewandowski at the time, he wasn't doing really well, and Roque, he was supposed to come last summer, not in the January transfer window. And that's when, Xavi, he made the decision, hey, let's bring him in earlier. And that's where he came in. He had those 2 games where he was able to score, but generally, now looking at back at it with hindsight, he just wasn't ready for the top level of European football. Whether he had the talent, that could be debatable. Maybe the potential is there, but maybe he's just not. He's just too raw, to play at this level. And failure, you could say that it's just been a failed signing, but Barcelona recuperate most of the funds. He goes back to Brazil. Hopefully he's able to have a rejuvenation in his career, basically in Brazil, where things went so well for you. You can
Mhm.
basically rekindle your career, and hopefully we can see him back in Europe. Who knows? Since he's so young, but genuinely, obviously disappointed because the expectations on him were very high. But I just leave it there. It's a signing that didn't work. It happens. Barcelona recuperate most of their monies, and let's just move on.
Bro, you know what's crazy, right? We tried to sign this guy a while ago, right? For a long time. There was so much hype on him. It was between him and William Estaval. And Estaval is a player who I've seen. Well, I've seen a lot of this kid. This kid is great. In my head, I'm just like, bro, it was between him and Estaval at some point. I would have rather like the thing is when we were linked to him, I didn't see enough of him. You understand what I'm saying? But I
Mm,
saw enough of Estaval to say, yo, why didn't we go in for Estaval?
mm,
Like I know he's off to Chelsea, but I look at his move to Chelsea and I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Is this guy is not gonna do like, bro? The Premier League hasn't been good to Brazilians, bro. Let's be real, right? People don't realize, like, look at even guys like Anthony, how they're doing in La Liga. I honestly think even guys like Endrick, like, bro, Endrick gets stick now. Imagine Endrick was playing for Chelsea. Remember Chelsea tried to sign Endrick.
yeah.
Imagine Endrick at Chelsea, bro. Imagine the noise that they would have, right? But then they've signed this kid. God knows how he's going to do there. I would have loved to have signed this guy over Victor Roque because I think that William Estava, who's, remember, he's the same age as Yamal. Like, imagine that could have been our front line for another 15 years, right? Yamal and Estava as the wingers. It's ridiculous,
You
right?
know what?
But
See, the only problem with that is just necessarily is that they both play in the same position, and so Barcelona with Lewandowski doing so poor, that's when I believe that Barcelona just made the move saying, "Hey, we need a striker. We need a number 9." And just looking at Lamine Yamal's position, they didn't want that conflict. They would rather go with that with Roque, and
mhm,
unfortunately, it was a gamble that didn't work.
yeah, anyways. But yeah, listen, we got make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, guys. Big up to every single one of you guys watching here. Big up to Jay says, never wanted Roque. I knew the Endrick hype. I knew the Endrick Roque hype was BS. I mean, bro, it was ridiculous, man. Like it's crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of Brazilian, like let's be real, Kool-Aid, like last few years, Brazil hasn't really been good at producing players coming into Europe and actually doing well. Like, think about it, right? Like, I would say Vinicius is probably the last one who actually like left. I mean, maybe Vini or maybe Rodrigo, because I think Rodrigo came the year after Vini came in, right?
But
Right? I think,
I think that speaks to a wider issue, saying just like Brazil as a whole. I think they're going through a bad period in their history
yeah,
because
they really are.
they're actually going through it. The amount of talent that they have is very low at the moment, and in recent tournaments they haven't been performing well. They were recently knocked out
Yeah.
in the Copa America. Was in the group stage or basically.
Quarterfinals, bro, absolutely were battered by
Yeah,
Uruguay.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Around there, early exit in the World Cup. That 7-1 massive defeat, which does hurt. And then in the following World Cups, just I would say just disappointment, losing to Croatia as well. Maybe in 2018, you're saying, hey, they lost to a great Belgium side, but generally, you expect a Brazil, the team with the most World Cups to be beating Brazil, and just in these past couple of years and seasons, especially looking at how they've been doing in the qualifiers, their
Mhm.
talent just isn't at the level that's required, and you're seeing that in the world of
I'm,
football.
I'm gonna be very honest. I feel like when it comes to Brazilians, I feel like the big mistake that a lot of Brazilian players do is that they go to the wrong teams. Like even a guy like Victor Roque, as much as I still think there's a player in there because I've seen him at Betis. I think that if he had joined, if he had joined a Betis instead of joining a Barca on a permanent, or went to a club like Atleti or a Sevilla, or one of these clubs like a Sociedad, I would rather see them. I would rather see Brazilians play either in the Italian league or in La Liga, because I feel like that's where Brazilians usually are given freedom. You understand what I'm saying? But a lot of Brazilians recently have been moving to England, and England is the worst place to go to if you're Brazilian, bro. Because England do not promote the Jogo Bonito style, bro. They try so hard to kick that out of players, bro. You understand what I'm saying, right? So for me, I feel like even guys like Vinny, I even said it recently on a stream with someone, right? I was like, you look at someone like Vinicius, how long it took him to finally like become the man at Madrid. Imagine if Vinny at 18 signed for a City or Manchester United or Chelsea. When, let's be real, we only saw Vinny started playing well in 2021 is when we really started to see Vinicius really growing to be the player that he is. Bro,
Yeah.
a lot of these players would have already called him a flop, a Brazilian flop. Because let's be real, when he first arrived, bro, his end product was terrible. When he came to La Liga and he was playing at Madrid, bro, I remember he had one of the worst end products, bro. I was thinking, yo, who is this guy? You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Right? But that patience that Madrid had for him is what ended up sufficing to how good he is today. And let's be real, Premier League don't do that, bro. They wouldn't give him the chance to be himself. And I feel like with a lot of Brazilians, that's what they're getting away from. They're not like, bro. If you look at Brazil in like the early 2000s, right? That 2002 team, you know what they had? They had players with flair. You understand what I'm saying? You had players who, dude, they just did whatever they wanted, bro, on the pitch. You understand what I'm saying, right? They were just free, bro. They were not coachable. You never coached them. You understand what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
never coached them, bro. You were just like, you just let them. You're just like, all right, man. Lineup. Here's the lineup. Formation, tactic. You understand what I'm saying? And then the
Yeah.
players will just do whatever they want because they already know, bro. But today, bro, in today's football, every single thing is worked on, bro. The play, where you run, how you make your run, when you should cut inside, when you should dribble, when you should pass, when you should, bro. They're always like, bro. Today's football, bro. Everything is tactically made, bro. Everything, bro, is so robotic today, bro. Football today
Yeah.
is so robotic. That's why I feel like Brazilians are doing so badly, bro. Because when they come to Europe, bro, that kind of football, that free flow kind of football that they're used to in South America, bro, it's kicked out of them when they come to Europe.
Mm.
That's why with some of these Brazilians, I'm like, bro, you guys should just stay in Brazil. Like someone like Roque, I'm like, bro, go back to Brazil, because I feel like that's where you need to stay, bro. A lot of these Brazilians, that's what I would say about them, bro. They need to stay in Brazil and continue having that mindset of Jogo Bonito. Because, dude, you guys getting kicked out of you when you come to this continent. I'm telling you right now, in Europe. Says Roque was signing was pointless. Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was. Jay says, but he had potential. I mean, he did. He did. Let's be real. He says, I never signed up to the Roque hype train. I didn't see enough of him to be hyped, to be honest. He says, we got lucky. We got getting 25 million because of Betis. Mm-hmm. He says, Xavi asked for him, though. I mean, did he? Think about this, Kool-Aid. Did he? Because let's be real. When we remember when he arrived, even Xavi was criticizing him. He said, "Yo, this guy, his training ethic is absolutely ridiculous."
No,
So
no, he wasn't a Xavi signing. It was a Deco signing. It was a club signing. But Xavi did ask for him to come earlier because of Lewandowski's poor run of form, and that Barca, they needed something in that front line. That's where I would say pay,
yeah,
like Xavi called for him.
okay, all right. Says man, we're calling Endrick the baby Pele, bro. You know what it is with Endrick? I think Endrick left you in Brazil. He's another one of those players that I think, bro, you should have stayed in Brazil. Like, think about it. Neymar left Brazil at 21. This guy, remember, people forget. Neymar, from the moment he was like the same age as Hendrik, people were talking about him. You understand what I'm saying? Like, bro, I remember in 2009, people were talking about this Brazilian kid, this kid from Brazil. They were like, yo, this is kid in Brazil, bro. He's a joke. He's absolutely ridiculous. His dribbling is a joke. His finishing is a joke. At 17, right? But the guy didn't leave his club until he was what, 21. He stayed in Brazil for 4 years. Why? Because he was at a club where the environment was great. He could train. He could mold and become the star that he became. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
He needed years of dominating, and when he became the top dog of Brazil for years, he thought, "All right, cool. I have now completed everything in Brazil. I'm now at a age in my life now where I feel like I know enough, and I'm ready to go and tackle Europe." And that's what he did. He came to Europe and tackled it, bro. That's what some of these Brazilians need to stop doing, bro. You guys leave Brazil too early, bro. How are you going to be 17, 18 living in Brazil? Stay in Brazil until you're 20, bro. 20, 21. Have the experience, bro. You understand what I'm saying, right? When you're in your 20s, like the experience you have at 17 is different from the experience you have at 20, at 21. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, in
Guys
regards to that, it's at the same time, I understand where you're coming from, but it's very difficult to turn down a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, if they come knocking on your door.
bro, Neymar turned down Brazil at 10, bro.
No, congrats to Neymar. But for example, you're gonna say that every single Brazilian player is gonna, turn down the opportunity to play for the biggest clubs and the greatest clubs in the world. Especially looking at at some of the players' financial situation, knowing that hey, you make that move, you basically secure your family's future and forever basically.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, listen. I'm one of these people where I'm like, bro. I'm a Barca fan. If I'm Brazilian, obviously, I would be a Barca fan. I would have dreamt to one day play for Barca. If Barca came in for me at 18, bro, I'm gonna be very honest. I would know that 18, I'm not ready for Barcelona. I'm more self-aware. I'll be like, listen, Barca, respectfully, my dream is to one day play for Barca, but I don't think I am ready for that challenge yet. And if they don't come back for me, bro, then I just realize that the move was never for me. But for me, bro, I just don't want to move to Europe because, yes, it's a dream, bro. I live the dream of playing for wearing the Barca shirt. No, I want to become a Barca legend. Do you understand what I'm saying, right? I want to know I want to make sure when I arrived at Barcelona, I'm walking into the team. You see Neymar, if Neymar left Brazil in 2010, wherever club he would have joined, if he had, let's say at 2010, where he was beginning to be linked to clubs, imagine he left and joined Barcelona in 2010, bro, under Pep. He wouldn't start under Pep. I'm not saying he wouldn't play under Pep, but Pep would realize, yo, you're 18. You understand what I'm saying, right? He would have looked at him and said, yo, guys like Pedro, he would have played players like Pedro, players like flipping Villa and Messi. Because he'll be looking at Neymar and thinking, yo, you are just potential. You can be great one day, but I'm not going to force you to play. You understand what I'm saying? I would say he would start playing in like a season or two. But let me tell you something, right? When Neymar came in 2013, there was no doubt he was going to be starting. There was zero doubt he was going to be starting. Nobody was looking at him saying, maybe he just needs time to adapt. No. Everyone was like, yo, you're coming into the team and you're playing alongside Messi right away. Starting lineup. You, Messi, Iniesta, and Xavi, you guys are the first names in the starting lineup. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I think with some of these players, bro. You have to have that mindset of belief. You see someone like Neymar. The reason why Neymar, right, chose to reject Real Madrid at 10 is because, bro, think about this. If he went to Madrid's academy, how many players around 2010 were in the Madrid academy were actually getting promoted? Let's be real. Let's be honest, bro. It's not like today's era where we see guys like Raul Asensio and Lucas Vasquez and all of these guys are coming out. Like even guys like Carvajal never made it at Madrid. They had to leave Madrid, do well, and then get bought back by Madrid. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So Neymar would have been the same. Neymar would have had the potential, but because he's a Madrid owned, Madrid would have been trying to go and buy Galacticos. You understand what I'm saying, right? And then people will be looking at him and saying, yeah, well, he has potential, but bro, we have all these players we have in this team. You understand what I'm saying? So he was smart enough to understand, bro, I want to go to Santos. I want to build my name in Brazil. I want to start here. I want to show everybody, right, that I am that guy. So that's why he had 2, 3, 4 seasons of consistent, because his first season was crazy. I think he scored like 40 goals at like 18. And everyone was like, yo, this kid is a joke. And the next season, he put like 45. You understand what I'm saying? Everyone was like, yo, this kid is a joke. Next season, wins Copa Libertadores, 47 goals. Dude, what the hell is wrong with this kid? You understand what I'm saying? People are like,
No.
yo, this kid is a joke. This guy's putting 40 goals every single season, right?
Well, well,
Everyone was looking at it.
well,
Yeah.
also like speaking about that, I think that just Barcelona they took a chance because, for example, let's say that first season from Roque it was successful. He did have I would say the breakthrough, but Barcelona at the same time they took a chance on him. What happens if Roque is able to go through this procedure, or this process in which he is
Mhm.
developing and he's becoming a more developed player, but the one big change from what it is right now to let's say in 3 or 4 years is that hey, maybe right now it's only Barcelona looking at VITOR ROQUE, which it wasn't. There were other teams interested, but you better prepare for the mountain of offers that are going to be arriving for Roque. It's going to be much more difficult for clubs to go after these youngsters, when they are, in that age bracket. It makes it much more difficult. It makes it much more competitive. These players are going to be looking at offers from, Barca saying, hey, I have an offer from Liverpool. It's let's say, double the wages, and but what happens if he doesn't like that? Okay, fine. I have an offer from Dortmund. Uh, Good city, good football. It makes it much more competitive. And so, looking at that mindset, I'm thinking, hey, that's why clubs are approaching these players at such a young age, and it's understandable. You want to get the players young. That way, you find those gems, and you don't have to pay huge amounts of money as well. Because if he is
Mm.
22, 23, he's gonna be not 30, but let's say 70 million. And so, at the same time, I
Yeah,
understand that, like,
but that's the thing. That's the club's problem. So for me as a player, if you
no,
decide to come
no,
in for
but
me,
that, but
for,
that
so Elias, let me say this for the
No, but that
player's
also
point
plays
of
a
view.
role. It plays a role in the club trying to acquire the player. If
So
I'm
this is
sitting
the
down
thing.
with
So
you
then
as a
as a
player,
player, okay, so then as a player, that's what I'm gonna say. So as a player, then what you should do then is to say, listen, if I'm gonna sign for you now, am I gonna be in the team? Like, am I actually starting? Am I in the? Can I expect to be in the 11? Because that's the only guarantee, bro. Because see, listen, if I'm playing every week and I'm performing well for my Brazilian team, I'm having my potential is reaching at a certain point. I don't want to go to Europe and be sitting on the bench. You understand what I'm saying, right? You
yeah,
need to let me know that okay, if you come in, we will bring you to the first team. I think that's what Vinny was promised that Vinny was given when he joined Madrid. You understand what I'm saying, right?
no,
Madrid were like, listen, if you come to Madrid, you understand what I'm saying, right? We will bring you in the squad. You will not be in Barcelona B. You will not be in the training in the second in the kids in the second team and all that. No, you will be in the first team with the first team players. You understand what I'm saying, right? And you
yeah.
saw it the moment Vinny arrived. He was always in the first team from the moment he arrived, even when he was 18, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like in situations like that, I don't mind the player leaving his club at 18, 19. As long as the club promise you that you're going to come in and play. You understand what I'm saying? With some of these players, bro, I'm telling you now, you see it all the time. Look at these players when they come in at 17, 18, bro, they instantly get thrown out on loan. You understand what I'm saying? Instantly get thrown out on loan for different
Right
clubs.
there, I just think it's the nature of football. I think these clubs they are going to be talking to these players and say, hey, you know what, you're going to be a vital piece of the club. Like I'm pretty sure this is the conversation that Deco had with Roque. He was saying, hey, you know what, you're going to be our striker for the future. We want you. You're going to be involved in the squad and everything. Just at the end of the day, Xavi comes around and he says, hey, you know what, actually, I don't think that you're in my plans. I don't think you have the quality, and that's where that disconnect happens, and I think that happens all over the world of football and for every single club.
All right. Anyways, so yeah, let's just move on to the next point. And speaking of Brazilians, let's go straight to this guy.
Yeah.
All right. Good Lord Almighty. So
uh,
apparently, bro, once again, looks like we're back in 2019. Looks like I just woke up and I woke up. We went to sleep and woke up in 2019 because, yeah, apparently Neymar plans on returning to Barcelona and he wants to. Basically, the reason he went to Santos is because he wants to regain match sharpness. He wants to rejoin the national team for the 2026 World Cup and he wants to play for Barcelona and basically is free on a transfer in the summer. So this is basically the deal that has been talked about all day today. For some reason, bro, every single news outlet are talking about this, right? It seems like people are saying that apparently Zahavi, who apparently I think is Neymar's agent now, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know. I'm not. I can't confirm. But they're saying Zahavi is the one that's going to be behind the deal if the deal happens. You understand what I'm saying? But apparently, there's been talks with the club because they're apparently looking at bringing him back to the club. Okay, so before I let Elias say what he has to say, I'm gonna get what I have to get out and what I have to say, get it out of the way. You see how I'm sick and tired of the De Jong talk? This is one of those things which I'm exhausted about. Okay, this is not 2019. I don't understand, bro. Why are we so obsessed with bringing this story every single time? It's over. The guy left us, bro. It's not our. He chose. He had an opportunity to become a legend at this club. He said, "No, I'm not ready for that competition with Messi. I want to go to PSG where I will be the main man." We left him. You went to PSG, couldn't be the main man there. Now you want to come back here with your tails between your legs. When we are actually now, after years, actually building up to having something good in this team. Now I'm gonna say this before anybody goes up on me. What do I personally think of the Neymar? Is there any advantages to signing Neymar? Personally, I think there is. The only positive I see about us bringing back Neymar, if he does come back in, right, is that he is an experienced head. Now, he's been plagued with injuries for years now. This is why I'm thinking about this move, and I'm like, bro, I don't know if I want this move because this guy is so injury prone now. I don't trust him. You understand what I'm saying? Because I've said it before. Neymar, when he's fit, I think that he's one of the best players in the world, even now. You understand what I'm saying, right? There's not a lot of players in Europe that can do what Neymar can do when he's fit. You understand what I'm saying, right? But if I'm going to be real, I don't know, bro. I'm not sure about this move. I'm not sure, bro. It's too much risk. First of all, he's 33 this year. You understand what I'm saying? He's 33 this year. I don't know why we're trying to go for a 33-year-old. And secondly, like I said, he's got injury problems, bro. This guy literally just had an Achilles injury that took him out for over a year and a half. You understand what I'm saying? Right? And now he's at Santos. Yeah, I think he's trying to get my fitness. But dude, we probably will never see the best version of Neymar. Right? So why are we persisting in trying to bring this guy back when we don't even know how good he is anymore? We haven't seen Neymar play football, regular football, in years. Like I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not a big fan of this move because I feel like there's so many other players in this team. Like there's so many areas like other players we could get, right? I'm thinking about strikers. I'm like, listen, why don't we guys go for Isaac, guys like Isaac, right? We need like a midfield. We need defenders. We need a keeper. I'm not sure, bro. This is not one of those moves I'm thinking about, bro. Honestly. But yeah, man, Elias, you let me know, man. What do you think about this move, bro?
And I mean, I'm in agreement with you. Just looking at it from, let's say, from a nostalgic point of view, obviously I'm excited of a potential Neymar return. I'm thinking, for example, of all the success that we've had together. I'm thinking, hey, like what happens if Neymar actually returns? Just when you look at the reality, it's a completely different story. This is a Neymar who is far from his best level, who, as you said, is plagued with injuries, hasn't been available for, I would say, over a year and a half, as you said, and who is very far away from his best level. And the best Neymar is a fit Neymar, and who is at 100%, and that just hasn't been the case. And obviously I would love a Neymar to join Barcelona if he was at 100%, but that's not the case. And he just recently signed for Santos. Why would he just leave Santos when he just signed for the club?
I
It's
think he has a clause in his contract where he can leave for on a free. Apparently,
yeah,
that's what I
but,
heard.
but then again, it's just I think that's just a report where we're just saying like, hey, Pina Sahavi and Neymar, they had like a conversation, and Pina Sahavi talks with the club, but I don't think it's anything too serious. I think that's just like saying, hey, just some conversations. I don't think that Barcelona, they are going to be going after Neymar heavily, and then again, I think it's just the best decision to just say, hey, that's a story in the Barcelona chapter that has ended, and let's move on. Unless Neymar, in this next upcoming 3 or 4 months, just absolutely tears it up, and changes the mindsets of the Barcelona board and the Barcelona fans, then I don't see this move happening.
Jay says I'd rather have Pedro back than as backup than Neymar. I mean, what does that say about it, man? Like, honestly, man, it's a joke. I don't know, man. I feel like this energy that we're having for this Neymar talk, we could be using this to try to sign other players in other positions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of this link to this club to the club. I'm not. I would rather we go out and actually look for other areas on the pitch, right? Like I said. Um, but yeah, listen. At the end of the day, man, we'll see what happens, man. But look, at the end of the day, when it comes to Neymar, I am not a big fan of this move. I really am not. Let me see. Like I think in his last game, if I'm not mistaken, did he score or something? I think he might
Yeah,
have.
yeah. I think he scored or won a penalty. No, actually, he scored from the corner kick. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. But listen. But I do want to talk about another. Whoa, give me a second. Yeah. Anyways, I do want to talk about another transfer. This is another one. So this is breaking news today from in Bayern Munich, basically confirming that they basically will not be giving Kimmich a new contract. They've withdrawn the contract extension, and basically what that means is Joshua Kimmich is gonna be free in the summer. Now, for those of you guys who are wondering why we're talking about this, is because we know that there has been a lot of word, like Kimmich has been linked to the club. You understand what I'm saying, right? Obviously, because Flick is here. A lot of German players have been linked to this club. Like Jonathan Tah is one of those that we don't know when the club is going to confirm the move, but we know that the club have been in contact with him for a while now, right? And we'll see what happens with that, right? But yeah, listen, this Kimmich news, right? How do you feel if we actually do go in for him? Are you one of the where you're like open to the move, or do you feel like right now, especially the way our midfield is looking with like De Jong, the way he's playing, right? He's back into good form again, and Casado has been proving himself in the team, right? He's proven, that he deserves to stay at the club, and also Mark Bernal. Let's not forget about Mark Bernal, right? He suffered an ACL injury this season, but he will be back next season, right? Could this, like, do you think that would you be open to seeing this move happen, or do you just feel like it would hinder the players that are currently in the team right now?
Mm. Well, I'm a lot more open to this move than the Neymar move. Looking at Joshua Kimmich and what he can offer to the team and where he's at. I think he'd be a much better option. However, I will say this and keep in mind that this isn't the best Joshua Kimmich. I would say his best years they are behind him, and this I would say be very reminiscent to what the Gundogan signing was, where we bring him
Mm,
in, and he is able to have some instant impact, but is only here for a season or two or three. And that's where I'm looking at this Joshua Kimmich deal. And looking at his demands, I know that he's going to be asking for high wages, and so that's going to be a point of conflict. Barcelona would be having to have a conversation with him and say, hey, let's try to fit you in the wage structure to actually bring you in. And in regards to Joshua Kimmich joining Barcelona, I think it'd be great for him. You'd be joining a very young and exciting team with potential to win the biggest trophies. And of course, he, as Andres says right here, he could be a leader to those young players. And as well, another bonus is that Hansi Flick, he has managed Joshua Kimmich in the past, and
yeah.
this is a move that if you bring him on a short deal, manageable wages, I only see upside from here.
I mean, absolutely. I'll say this, right? I think that just like NJ just mentioned there, I think what this current Barca team is missing is having experienced players. And whether we like it or not, Kimmich is a very he's a leader, right? He is one of Bayern Munich's captains. You understand what I'm saying, right? He's a natural leader on the pitch, right? Um, if I'm going to be real, I think that I listen. I'm in two minds because I did speak to Barca boy recently, and I was talking about this Kimmich move, and he's not a big fan of the move. He doesn't want the move to happen because he feels like our midfield is too packed up right now. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Hmm.
And there's so many good players that are in the midfield. Like so many of them have potential to be great. You understand what I'm saying, right? And this move is just going to limit like their progress. You understand what I'm saying? Now, personally for me, I'm one of these people where I'm saying, look, at the end of the day, I think that what this Barca team is missing is youngsters. I'm sorry, experienced. We have too many youngsters. You understand what I'm saying, right? You see it in how naive we are when we are in the lead in games where we score first and we just go on a run. We dominate. You saw it, bro. Did you remember the Sevilla game? That's like the perfect example, right? We were 1-0 up. And then literally, the lack of experience ended up costing us to concede right away. You understand what I'm saying? And you saw that first half, the way the team was rattled until Fermin Lopez came in and scored the goal, which gave us back the lead. And all of a sudden, the confidence came back, right? Basically, what that tells me about this team is we don't have any leaders who can galvanize the team when we are not performing well, when we are goal down, when we are behind in games. You understand what I'm saying, right? And I feel like having more leaders in this team is what we need because listen, as much as I did Rafinha, I don't think he's that kind of leader just yet. You understand what I'm saying? I think that he will become that leader eventually. I think that he's growing to be that leader slowly every time I'm seeing him, right? But he's not that leader just yet. He's not that complete package as a leader just yet. Now, I don't think Kimmich is either, but I think Kimmich is more experienced. And like you mentioned, I think that Kimmich is one of these players who, how do I put it? The best football I ever saw Kimmich play was actually under Flick. Crazy enough,
Yeah.
like Kimmich's best football in his career at Bayern Munich was under Flick. Even Bayern Munich fans, I know a lot of Bayern Munich fans, they will attest to this, right? So I'm one of these guys who's like, listen, at the end of the day, am I open to the move? I'm not against it because it's a free transfer. You understand what I'm saying? It's a free transfer for a player with a lot of experience. And who knows, man? Maybe and also he's a very versatile player. Let's be clear as well. All right. Big up to NJ says Kimmich at right back is the only thing I'd entertain. Zero interest in Kimmich. In reality, we don't need him because we are going to overpay for him. Not worth it. I mean, if you talk about wages, then yeah, absolutely. You understand what I'm saying, right? And also, this is the NJ says. Remember, Kimmich was surrounded by leaders like Robin Lam, Xabi Alonso, Ribery, and Neuer. Yeah, he played with a lot of like experienced heads. That's what I feel like, you know, he would bring to this team. But listen, we'll see what happens for sure. We will definitely see what happens with that for sure, man. But listen, at the end of the day, I do want to talk about before we do wrap up. Sunday, we're off at home to
No.
Real Sociedad, who, if we remember, we lost to earlier this season. One of our worst performances I've seen from us this season. That game was absolutely awful, awful, awful. We couldn't. Well, our attack was stunk in that game, and I did watch the Sociedad Madrid game yesterday, and bro, Sociedad's attack was, oh my days, bro. Their attack was awful, bro. Oyarzabal had probably the worst game I've ever seen from him, bro. I'm not even joking. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Kubo had a good start to the game, but even he ended up falling off a cliff in that game. Who's the other guy? I forget. I can't pronounce his name. Is it Baron Tesh, whatever his name is?
Um.
Dude,
um,
his name is too. He's one of
I think I know who you're trying to refer to.
that.
It's
Yeah,
uh
if you know who I'm talking about, then
yeah,
it's all
yeah.
good. But
Hmm.
he also had a stink of a game, right? But basically, bro, Real Madrid were not even good in that game. Like, big up to NJ. That's the guy, him, right?
Valencia, I think.
Yeah, Baden, yes, there you
Hmm.
go, right? He was absolutely awful in that game too, right? Madrid didn't even have to go into second gear in that game, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. They just did at first gear. They got the goal, and then they were just good for the rest of the game. You understand what I'm saying? So, listen, we're in a title race. We at home. We haven't been playing well in the league recently, but brother, I expect us to perform in that game. No excuses. No excuses. You understand what I'm saying? We're in a title race right now. It's heating up. There's a big game tomorrow. I'm sorry, on Saturday, when Bilbao play Atletico Madrid. That's gonna be huge. You understand what I'm saying, right? Anything can happen in that game. Atletico to drop points again. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna be keeping my eye on that game. And if they drop points, we need to win. Because listen, the more points we open against all our title rivals, the better. Right? But listen, one thing about this Barca team is, bro, they have been letting me down with the performances recently. I'm not saying we've been not been winning. The winning has been great, but the performances have not been good enough. Now, the reason I always have to emphasize in the performances is because the problem is when you're winning games when you're not performing well, it's basically a telltale signs of what's to come. You understand what I'm saying, right? Eventually, the goals are gonna dry out, and when the goals dry out, when the performances are not good, you're gonna start seeing these players being exposed. You understand what I'm saying? So, listen, you tell me, bro. What do you think about that game against Sociedad?
Well, I mean, I'm going into that game confident. I think how the Hansi Flick, he is going to making certain rotations. I think you could maybe see Rajo back into the lineup, and like I want to touch up on that point just in regards to the performances. Yes, some games from Barcelona they haven't been well, but Barcelona, I believe we're the only team in La Liga that have won the last 5 games, and so like even though yes our performances aren't there. Barcelona, we
Yeah.
have been winning, and when you're reaching this part of the season, it gets less of just saying, hey, the performance is the be all and end all, but more so, can you get the results? Because you are in the business end of the season. But, generally, looking at how Barcelona they have been performing in the past couple of weeks, I'm not necessarily saying, hey, I'm very worried for this match. I think that Barcelona can get the 3 points and will get the 3 points. It's just
Mm.
that saying, hey, can we not make the same mistakes that we've been making in these past couple of weeks where, it's us shooting ourselves in the foot.
No, and
Basically,
that's my thing for me. It's not that I'm not confident we're gonna win. That's not the thing, right? I know, yeah, I've seen enough from this team to know that we can get it done in the end. But bro, I'm gonna be very honest. Last few games I've been doing watch alongs, I've been fuming on my stream. Why? Because I'm just like, bro, like, listen, the reason I always have to talk about performance is because, bro, people who don't watch Barca games, right, and just see the results, they think, okay, but why is he complaining, bro? Barca keep winning. Like you said, we won our last 5 games. What is there to complain about? You're not watching the games. You understand what I'm saying, right? You're not watching how we're getting our asses whooped in certain games. Like, you remember the Rayo Vallecano game? Bro, we won that game 1-0. It was arguably one of the worst games I've seen from Barca this season. We just won the game. We scored a goal from the spot, and that was it. The whole time, bro, the attack was completely dead in that game. All the attackers, all 3 of them, Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Yamal were both poor in that game, right? In the game against Las Palmas, bro, Danny Olmo was the guy who came on and changed the game. You remember? He
no.
was the one that came on and changed the game. Him and Ferran Torres. Like, Lewandowski was doing nothing. Yamal, before he got the assist to Olmo, wasn't doing anything. And neither was Rafinha, right? That's why I was like, listen, if there's any good news, I hope if there's anything good we took away from the Atleti game is that our attack was much more fluent. That's why we scored 4 in that game. So I want to see that kind of attack against Sociedad, because I think if we play that same kind of attack, I can see us dropping them, bro. And I mean dropping them bad. We could give them like a 4-0 win. But I can't even say 4-0 because defensively, bro, we are not shut. I can see us conceding in that game. Now, I think that we'll go forward and get like a 2-goal or 3-goal lead before we concede, right? But defensively, bro, I don't trust these guys, especially even though the Sociedad they were not good against against Real Madrid. Sociedad have a lot of good players in their team, so they can still give us problems in that game. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I just hope that these guys can wake up, right? Smell the coffee and make sure that we don't slip. We can't drop any points. Because, dude, this title race is heating up. Every week now, it's just going to be on edge as Barca fans. We're going to be on edge, bro, every game. You understand what I'm saying? Because the table is going to keep changing at halftime every single game. That's what it is. Every single game. So we have to do better, man. We have to do better. But yeah, man, listen, we'll see what happens, Elias, for sure. But yeah, let me quickly see. But listen, big up to my guy Elias, guys. We are gonna be wrapping up very, very soon. Elias, man, tell these guys what's coming up on your channel soon, man.
Yes. So with I actually talked. I just made a recent video on the channel, talking about that Neymar and VITOR ROQUE news. As well, but
Mm,
tomorrow just some more Barcelona news roundup, and obviously every single Barcelona game I try to have a watch along and as well some match reaction, and so for this weekend I will be going live for the Real Sociedad game. It's going to be I believe it's on Sunday. Yeah, it's on Sunday
Sunday.
in the morning. So that's going to be exciting. And as you said, hopefully Barcelona can get the 3 points and maintain at the top. But it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. I mean, listen, man, we'll see what happens for sure. Big up to my guy AK every single time. He says, I know Ferran fucked up chances, but the attack was much better with him on the pitch. He didn't slow the attack down like Lewandowski. Yeah, but this problem with Ferran Torres is when you give him chances, bro, he will do what he did against Letty, bro. And that's not what I want to see in that game. You understand what I'm saying? Ferran Torres, yeah, the attack is more fluid when Ferran Torres is playing. But dude, this guy's finishing is absolutely dreadful, man. Absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful, man. Not good enough. We need, like I said, we need a new attacker, bro. We need a new striker, bro. I'm done with all our strikers. All of our strikers are terrible, man. We need to get a new striker next season for sure. Hopefully, we can go get Isaac because that's the dream. That is the dream. But yeah, man, listen, guys, we're gonna wrap up. This stream is gonna redirect you guys to Casual FC. My guy, what's his name? Marshall. Big up to my guy Marshall, man. Like I'm getting brain freeze. Big up to my guy Marshall. Make sure you guys go and put Omar BYT Raid on his stream. He's doing a stream right now, Casual FC, guys. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe before you leave, guys. Share this on your notifications. I don't know enough about João Garcia, bro. And even if I did, bro, let's be real. Is he he's one of their is he one of their key players?
He's the Espanol goalkeeper, and NJ, he has talked about Joan Garcia in the past. Me generally, I'm sort of in the same boat. I've only seen some highlights from him. I generally think that I need to see more from
Oh, is he
from
talking about him because of what he did against Real Madrid? Because if that's the case, bro, that's just
No,
one
no, no,
game.
no, 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 no. He's been a keeper that Barcelona have been keeping an eye on for the past couple of weeks slash months, and with the whole goalkeeper situation, it's understandable. But generally, I would say let that marinate a little bit before I would say making a serious move for him. But Barcelona, he's just a goalkeeper that Barcelona are keeping an eye on.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna say this now, guys. When was the last time Barcelona actually, Espanyol ever actually sold us a player? So you guys always have to remember that, man, because these are our rivals, man. They don't sell to us. Like, I think the last player to move from Barca to Espanyol was Martin Braithwaite, and that was on a free. So at the end of the day, yeah, man, it's gonna be a very, very tough deal. But listen, guys, we're gonna be redirecting to Marshall's channel, Casual FC. Put Omar BYT Raid on the channel, guys. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Kool Podcast. And yeah, guys, we're out of here. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe. Visca el Barça, Visca el Catalonia. And peace, you guys. Take care.